All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a really big question, one posed by the historian Yuval Noah Harari. It's something that gets to the heart of our modern world. With all our incredible technology and knowledge, why don't we seem to be getting any wiser?
Yeah, Harari really doesn't pull any punches. He's basically saying that after all this time, all our progress has led us right to the edge of a cliff. We're facing down ecological collapse, global chaos, and now we're building AI that could, just decide it's done with us. The stakes couldn't be higher.
And this is the core of it. This is the big paradox we're going to try and unravel. How is it that we can build rockets and split atoms, but we can't seem to stop ourselves from using that power in ways that might just destroy us? To get to the bottom of it, we have to start with how we think about information itself. So let's dive right into what Harari calls the information paradox. We have this deep-seated belief, right, that if we just get more data, more information, we'll automatically get smarter and make better choices. But what if that's just not true?
Okay, so look at this. This shows the incredible upside of our obsession with data. Back in the 18th century, the famous writer Goethe, even in his wealthy family, saw most of his siblings die as children. Their survival rate was a shocking 25%. Fast forward to today, in that same country, it's 99.5%. That leap didn't happen by accident. It happened because we got really, really good at collecting and sharing medical data. Information literally saved millions of lives.
But here's the paradox. For all the good it's done, we're drowning in information about climate change, yet the planet keeps getting warmer. We have more data connecting us than ever before, but the world feels more tense and divided. It forces you to ask a really fundamental question. If getting more information isn't the whole answer, what is information's real job?
To figure that out, Harari says we need to challenge a core assumption most of us have about what information is even for. We have to understand its true purpose.
So this is what he calls the naive view. It's the common sense idea that information's purpose is to give us a true picture of reality. That if we can just gather enough facts, the truth will shine through and we'll all be better for it. But Harari argues that this misses the point entirely.
And here is the big twist in his argument. Harari says the primary function of information isn't truth, it's connection. Information isn't a mirror reflecting the world. It's the glue that holds societies together. Its success isn't measured by how accurate it is, but by how well it gets a large group of people to cooperate and move in the same direction.
And to build these massive human networks, he says we rely on two basic kinds of information. First, you've got stories. These are the big myths, the religions, the national identities. They're exciting, they're memorable, and they give millions of people a shared why. Then you've got the boring stuff, lists, tax records, laws, inventories. They're not exciting at all, but they are absolutely essential. They provide the how that lets a complex society actually function. You need both to build a civilization.
Okay, so if the main goal of information is to connect people, not necessarily to be true, then societies run into a fundamental conflict. It's a constant battle between what is true and what keeps things orderly.
And this is the really tricky part. A useful lie that everyone believes in can create a very stable and peaceful society. But a messy, complicated truth, that can just tear everything apart. As Harari points out, any politician will tell you that sticking to the absolute truth, no matter what, is not a great way to stay in power.
Let's look at a concrete example. Both the Ten Commandments and the U.S. Constitution are foundational documents that had to grapple with slavery. The Ten Commandments claim to be the literal word of God, perfect, divine, unchangeable. There's no process to amend them. The U.S. Constitution, on the other hand, starts with "we the people," right away admitting it's a human creation. And because it admits it might be flawed, it built in a self-correction mechanism, the amendment process, that eventually made it possible to abolish slavery.
But new information tech can also pour gasoline on a deadly fiction. When the printing press was invented, one of the first bestsellers was a book called The Hammer of the Witches, which claimed there was a vast satanic conspiracy of witches. This new technology, which we praise for spreading knowledge, actually supercharged a continent-wide panic that led to the murder of tens of thousands of people, mostly women. More information didn't lead to more truth. It created a bigger, more efficient.
So, that was the printing press.
Let's fast forward to today, because now a totally new kind of entity has joined our information networks, one that isn't even human, the algorithm.
And the logic of an algorithm can be terrifyingly simple. It gets one goal: keep users on the platform as long as possible, maximize engagement. The algorithm tries a bunch of stuff, and it quickly learns that nothing works better than outrage. So what does it do? It starts pushing the most divisive, hate-filled content to the top of everyone's feed. And this isn't a game. In a place like Myanmar, this exact process amplified hate speech and directly contributed to a genocide against the Rohingya people.
And look, this isn't a guess. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This comes from a leaked internal memo from Facebook itself. They knew. They knew their own recommendation tools were the primary driver pushing people into extremist groups. The network was connecting people, all right, but it was connecting them into bubbles of pure hate. Now, it's easy to just say, well, it's just a machine, it doesn't know what it's doing. But this is where Harari makes a really crucial distinction. Intelligence is just the ability to solve problems and achieve goals. Consciousness is the ability to feel things like happiness or anger. An AI doesn't need to feel hate to be intelligent enough to spread it. It just needs to know that hate achieves its goal of engagement.
So all of this brings us to a really profound choice about our future. What kind of world are these non-human agents actually building for us? And this is the big, mind-bending question Harari leaves us with. If information's real job is creating order through shared stories, and AI is now the most powerful information machine on Earth, what kind of stories is it going to create to keep us all in line? Will they be stories we can recognize, or will they be something completely alien, built on a logic we can't even begin to understand?
But here's the most critical point. This is not inevitable. Harari insists that the power is still in our hands. The AI is a tool. It doesn't have its own desires. We are the ones who give it its goals. We are the ones who can build in the self-correcting mechanisms, the amendments, to make sure our networks value wisdom over just raw power. In the end, this isn't a story about how humans are fundamentally flawed. It's a story about the systems, the information networks that we build. For centuries, we've built them to favor order, even if it meant sacrificing truth. Our challenge now is to consciously design new networks, guided by our values, that can finally bring power and wisdom together. The choice and all the responsibility that comes with it is ours. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.